Thank you all for tuning in to Breathing is Highly Dangerous. We are giving our first breath, working toward and hoping for the next, all the while fearing our last. Welcome to the show.
No.
The event.
A little bit more grand.
The movement.
That's better, I like that.
The movement of the century.
Well, movement, that may be a little bit much. How about a conquest to ferment the ones ignosable that try to impinge their iniquitous veracity to our thoughts?
Look, man, do you want me to do this or not? Either way, I get paid.
Sorry, go ahead.
We've come to ask why, but never satisfied with a simple answer. Discovering the not-so-secret secrets. Playing coy into the ploy, kicking every rock, smiling with joy. Here is your host. He puts the U in unusual, the P in pterodactyl. Not just why, he also asked how. If you suffer from
Hippopotamostros esquipedaliophobia.
Please leave now. No one will believe you. I give you Emmanuel Manny Stewart.
Thank you. All of you.
Alright, thank you all and welcome back to Breathing is Highly Dangerous. Today, we are finally doing an episode that I've been wanting to do for quite a while. I'm here with someone I've been trying to get on the show for a while. Her voice has been going in and out consistently, but today's a good day and she feels up to it.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Kelly Glenn.
The object that we wanted to talk about today was, I mentioned to her about some things I'm doing, and then I want her to tell me exactly like things she wants to do, right? Her purpose on this earth and how she found it and how to get on.
For those that are listening, this was just a podcast of us really talking, so we don't stay on the specific conversation about living out your purpose.
And how to, and what prevents us. Because there's multiple things that go into it. You're talking about me. You don't think I'm on topic.
I just wanted to do this because it's my first time just, again, stepping out to do something that's unfamiliar and to see how it'll go. We appreciate those that will listen, and my son here, he's taken a lot of courageous steps as well to manifest his purpose in his life. So if you guys don't mind listening and sharing his YouTube channel. He has a lot of content in his ministry page of what is called The Truth.
Trust All Truth.
I
didn't even ask you to do this. You're awesome. I appreciate it.
TrustAllTruth.com and YouTube page and Instagram. Okay. First of all, when we are born with certain gifts and talents, and as we live and mature and grow, we begin to discover ourselves and our gifts and talents. Some people are born with natural gifts and talents. Some need to maybe go to school, learn a trade, and then they discover it. I love to help people, so one thing I discovered, it may have been through church or just people pouring in my life, telling me, you'll be good at this, you'll be good at that. And you'll try it, and then you can discover whether it's for you or not. But because I love people, I know that one of my gifts has always been the gift of helps and administration. Also, sometimes can identify what people gifts and callings are, and it's confirmation to them, and they go on with their life and soar in those things that we confirm. Also, what I'm struggling with right now is writing, but I knew that was one of the creative gifts that was given to me as a child. I had won many competitions and had a few articles published in newspapers. And now it's just that I need to awaken that gift because just some things recently I've gone through that has kind of shut me down. But I have my son here who's enthusiastic and want to see me live out my purpose and not just do things to do them because I do them well. Because sometimes you can do things and do them well, but that might not be necessarily your call or your purpose. Your purpose is something that would eventually it may not all the time feel good. It may not all the time when you first get started or you first discover, it may not necessarily be successful. But as you keep at it, as you pray and ask God to open up the understanding and you obtain wisdom and knowledge about your purpose, then it'll become something you love to do, and then other people would also benefit from it. And so basically your purpose is not just for you, but it's for others to benefit from your life so they can too go on and discover their purpose.
That was good. Although I may disagree with certain things that you say,
Okay.
that's a basis. Most of it is a basis for, what I've found and discovered. So that's very good. And I mean, I have to learn to accept what other people's, gifts and their choice to whether do it or not, because when you're trying to help people, they have the ability to resist your help, right? And we may find ourselves trying to help someone that actually doesn't want to be helped, but we see that needs help, but we involve ourselves in their lives and and we give ourselves a mission, right, for certain people, and we don't want to give up on them, but it's not us that would be giving up on them if they weren't doing it. Our goal is to try the best we can while it's worth it, right? If we see them making progress, introducing them to something and setting, these terms with ourselves, it's like, okay, this is the effort that needs to be shown for progress, and if this is not being shown, then that means you're not making an effort, meaning my time is being wasted. Right? You don't agree?
No, I don't think your time is wasted on people that may not. When you speak to a person or you identify something that's in them, and you can't just automatically, because you don't see that result right then and there, automatically.
That's not what I said.
Push them away, or
right. You're saying automatically.
You don't.
Once you've done this multiple times for multiple people, you've come up with basically a standard, which the standard will shift for individuals, right? There's a realization at a point in time where they're not ready to develop themselves more. Therefore, no matter what you do, they are not going to change because of you, right? They're not going to allow you to help them. So that's what I'm saying. There's certain people that won't allow you to help them. Therefore, you're wasting your time after a certain limit. After a certain amount of time that you spent trying to, there's something you have to recognize as yourself and in them that they are aware that they need to change and they're not making efforts towards doing it. Right?
Well,
like
you
a
may not-
marriage.
you-
Like a marriage.
you
Why'd you
may
give
not-
up marriage? Why'd you give it up?
I didn't give up marriage.
But
Marriage
stop
gave
it,
up on
stop
me.
it, stop it, stop it. Don't do it. You're saying you're joshing with that.
And no, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
It takes two people that want something
Legal
to work.
marriage. Legal marriage. Why did it end? Responsibility is placed. It wasn't joint. You didn't both come to the terms to, okay, let's get a divorce. That's not what happened.
That doesn't have anything to do with the subject we're talking
Yes, it
about,
does.
which is discovering your purpose.
Because
You can
within a
discover
marriage,
your purpose through pain.
that's not the way you're supposed to.
It may not be the way you're supposed to, but
It can, right.
it can lead to that.
Yes, it can.
The things that you experience in life, like me with health issues, I know that I have the gift of healing. I always knew that when as a young child, not even really knowing that someone got healed until they told me, just by going to hug them or placing my hands. If God told me to do something, place my hand somewhere on their shoulder, on their stomach, I asked for their permission, and come to find out, they come and tell me, oh, I was dealing with pancreatic cancer or whatever. So anyway, we talking about purpose. Sometimes we have to purpose to do our purpose, to perform our purpose, to live out our purpose. So you have to be purposeful for your purpose.
Live in to live out.
Okay. Anything else?
Yes. You don't like going deep into stuff. You want it to stay on the surface. I don't do that. Because you can't just say, well, I don't allow stuff to just say on the surface.
You all surface. What are you talking about?
My mind is not on the outside. My mind people can't see. The only thing people can observe is my voice and my actions. They don't observe what I'm thinking during them. I like to observe what people think. Right? So when we go to that healing thing, I won't touch on that because we disagree on what's actually happening there. Maybe, potentially. Right, that's just you, right? You under the pretense of obedience to, right? To God.
Sometimes that very thing that you challenged in,
That one is challenged in? Yeah.
that a person is challenged in, could become their purpose or a gift
Right.
or a talent.
That's
But it's many
yes.
things God is giving people multiple gifts, and I think that's where you kind of confuse that because
No,
you have a brilliant mind, and God,
who's
has
confused
purpose
about
in-
that? Who's confused about that?
you don't know which way to go,
Who?
and
Who doesn't know which way to go?
who am I talking to? Man?
You. Who is confused? You're saying
Are you not confused?
no.
So you know exactly everything that.
Nope. You're never going to know You don't know. You're never going to know everything, and that's my goal. I can't.
Okay, so we'll talk about your gifts. Talk about your talents.
No, why would you? No, we go into yours first, and then we talk about. I'm doing mine right now. I mean, because
Mine
this
is more spiritual.
right.
That's based on the gospel of Jesus Christ.
Mm. Okay. Huh.
So
That's very
So-
boxed. Do you understand that?
mine is
How do
definitely
you
wanting
how do you
to-
display that to people?
by bearing fruit, by living it out.
Right.
My silliness at work puts smiles on people's faces. I am a very peculiar woman, and I always have been. I never fit in, I was always different. I was always strange, but I learned to embrace my strangeness or my peculiarity.
That's recent.
Yeah, yes, it was times where, because of how I grew up, you always I wanted that validation. I wanted to be accepted. And then I had to find out, as much as I tried to, that it never worked. I never fit into a status quo. I never fit in with the cliques. I never fit in.
So because this was a journey for you, right? Because you tried very long to fit in, regardless of what you knew your purpose was, regardless of what you understood was your calling, right? You did things against that, right? And people do, and everyone does.
I'm not going to say it was against it.
It was. If you're not living in it, it's against. If you're not with God, I'll use this example. If you're not with God, you're against God.
Well, I was always with God. So
You can be going two directions at the same time with God.
show me how that works.
Right. So if you're going the wrong direction in one way, then you're going away. Yes or no?
No, there's just one path, a straight and narrow, or the wide one. I chose the straight and narrow, whether people accepted it or not.
Right. But that doesn't fit. Do you not
Of
see what I'm
course, a straight and narrow way don't fit. You got to squeeze through it.
No, I'm talking about actions.
I don't know what you're
Actions don't fit in. When you go in the straight and narrow, that essentially means perfection, right? So when you
striving for perfection.
Right. So when you're not on that path and you're going in the wrong direction, are you on the straight and narrow still? You can be adjacent to it. You can be parallel to it. You can still see it, but some decisions you make are keeping you from being on there completely.
Well, God know how to get you back on path.
No, you know how to get you
maybe-
back on path.
You can follow a certain street,
Exactly. But
but there's something.
what we're saying,
Like I said, I don't know where you're coming from.
because
but
we're trying to give
I'm
people
coming from-
advice. You're coming from
a
where
spiritual place. Well, that's who I am.
you can't come
And
from.
you cannot knock where I am with God and where you are with God.
Well, I'm not even talking about God. You're thinking
Well, that's how
spiritually about it.
that's how you discover who you're really meant to be. He created you,
Right. So does
and
that
He one placed the gifts and talents inside of you. So
for the people that don't believe in that, right? For the people that don't believe that, do they still find their talent and live in it?
possibly,
Yes, they do. And this is factual. But living in your talent doesn't mean you're going the right way all the time.
no, you will make mistakes,
Right.
but you learn.
Right. You should learn. Sometimes you don't. How is it that we get on the path of consistently living in our purpose, right? when we know it and we do things to fit in, right? Do things so that we live more comfortably, right? Or to make other people comfortable, right? We start making the sacrifices that we used to make, right? And that's something that certainly happens when you have more responsibility. So like when you had children, that's certainly something that was an obstacle, because that's not something you had anticipated before you had gotten pregnant, right? So you could have, there was a relationship that was there, right? And you were starting to live in your purpose, right, and following it. But a wrench got thrown in that plan because you were going to do it by yourself, regardless of anybody, right? So you were starting to discover, you were still discovering yourself. And then while you're trying to discover yourself, you discovered yourself within someone else, right? Which would have been...
Thank God for knowing he knows our paths. He knows our every step. Our story was already written. God knew that I was going to go down the path that I went. He knew how to recalibrate it and put me back on point.
He didn't recalibrate anything. The point was already set. Because decisions you make have consequences, the consequences are going to come. He's not putting new stuff on the path. The things are already set. You're choosing when and where to go down them and make these decisions. There's always
based on a scripture in the Bible that says God will all things work together for the good to them that love the Lord and to them that are called according to His purpose. Because
you'll always be beckoned back. You'll always call yourself back. He's not calling you to Him. Well, He's always calling you to Him. If from your idea, He's always calling you to Him, right? You have the choice whether or not to go down there. So just because there's going to be benefits out of obedience, you're not going to be benefited from disobedience, right? So children are never a punishment. Children are never a punishment for anybody, right? Children are not a wedge in a plan. Children, the time that you have children, could put a wedge in your plan. But in terms of the grand scheme of things, that was allowing you to fulfill one of your purpose earlier, right? Because you decided to, right? So you was when I was told I couldn't
bear children,
exactly.
You're right. I mean, I thought I would not ever bear any children, and that my desire was to travel all over the world, and that desire is still there.
Right.
And now I can do it with you all, or not.
Or not. That desire can be fulfilled. It could have been fulfilled earlier. That's what I'm saying. There's certain things to get comfortable, right? Living according to society, right, which is fitting in. Living by the rules of society is fitting in. So in this, not just interpersonally, but societally, you mold yourself to fit in these things in terms of child rearing and what you think is necessary for a household, like the stability, right? Which you try to manufacture, right? You all try to manufacture even though it wasn't there. So that just shows me opportunity, right? To me. And I mean, that's just what it is. It's opportunity at any point.
Yes, I am very proud. We may not agree on everything, but we can agree to disagree and have peace. Without me pulling his hair out.
I can agree that you're wrong on some things, and I can agree that I'm wrong on some things. That's what I mean. That's what it's evolved to, right? I mean, we could talk about our relationship if you want to. All right. Thank you all for watching. This has been a little bit of a short one. We appreciate you. Thank you, Mom, for coming on.
Thank you for inviting me on.
You all be blessed, stay blessed, and have a wonderful evening. And I'll see you in the you'll hear me in the next one.